putting that on recording. And today is June 25th. And I'm going to be talking about how to find winning stocks with the eye screener from company Tickeron, which I started after several other exits from other companies. As I said, my name is Sergey Savastyuk. I have a PhD in math. And Tickeron has in its core artificial intelligence. So we're really not kind of making that up. We have several neural networks which are being taught every night. We test quite a lot of, like let's say, millions of opportunities a day, and then present them to you. That's our business. Okay. What is the difference between our company and any other company? We are SEC registered company. It's a really a big deal, and it's a first tip of the day. We can say that quite a lot of companies which you having access to, let's say, graphic or indicators or other stock picks, stock trade ideas, most of them are not SEC registered. As a result, they can tell you anything they want. And very hard to catch those guys unless they are greatly misusing and misleading you guys. Okay, here is an example. Federal Trade Commission suing Online Trading Academy for misleading customers, charging $50,000 per trading course, and giving a lot of false information. That's the reason they're suing them. Okay, so it's kind of one group of companies which really saying quite a lot of BS, if honestly saying. Okay. Another thing. Here is another thing. Here's the article. 170,000 Robinhood millennials get stuck in the short stock spiral. What it is? It means people don't get any advice. They kind of follow the crowd, don't get understanding what's going on, and then kind of get stuck with the losses and then sit on them forever. Okay. So we're not going to do it. We are SEC registered. And that way, we are not allowed to say any BS. Whatever we say, it's kind of true and correct. And with all the disclaimers, which you can find, for instance, in the Form ADV Part 2. So in the future, if you want to see if the company is SEC registered, then, for instance, this is a Betterment. If you find Form ADV Part 2, then a company is SEC registered. If you cannot find such a form in their legal or general information, that means they are not SEC registered and they can say anything they want, pretty much anything. Okay, so that's kind of important information. I always underline that point for anybody who listens to me. Okay, so the reason you came here, you're really interested in the algorithms, and you should know about 75% of trades handled by computers, a lot of decisions made by computers, but these are mostly for the big players. Smaller players trying to find some support, but it's very hard. And one of the major problem, and I'm going to talk about that, is how to test those algorithms. A lot of people trying to test them. It's called backtesting. It takes a lot of amount of time, and the people get tired, and they do not backtest, and that's the main problem, which leads to a lot of losses. I'm going to talk today about screener. There are other topics I cover. What you can do is to go to the page Academy and then webcasts, and then listen to other webcasts. But today I'm really going to focus on the screener, our proprietary ratings, and our proprietary way of presenting the information. I'm going to talk about the basics, because if I'm not going to talk about these basics, about like what is a trading plan, what are the odds of success, and how we analyze the groups, then you're going to have a hard time to understand the screener. Okay. So let's briefly go through these topics. Most likely you might know that, but it's always good to refresh it. Let's start from the basic plans, okay? What I did, I kind of split into four major ideas, and quite a lot of them really get to these four categories. Let's say stock goes up, and then you bet on the trend is going to continue, okay? That's kind of one approach. Or stock goes down and trend is going to continue. That's kind of trend. It's a lot of strategies based on that. Then trading on a dip. When stock goes up, dip, and that's where people buying, and then it goes up. On a lot of downturns, there is a saying, I buy on a dip and then buy on another dip and then buy on another dip, okay? And that's the problem. But it is a valid strategy. Breakout. Stock goes up, then you buy only when it crosses a particular threshold, the price. It's called a breakout price, entry price, and then it continues to go up. And then the trend reversal. All beginners working on this strategy, they're trying to find this particular point. And actually, when I was a beginner, maybe 20 years ago, then I was also trying to find this particular point, trying to make most of the money after that. But in quite a lot of cases, I was getting right here, okay? Stock goes down and continues to go down. And that was a small dip like that. It goes down, it was a little bit, and then people think, oh, okay, it's going to go up. But in fact, it was continuing to go down. So my recommendation and the tip number 2 of the day, don't try to find this point. Don't focus on them. Don't try it. It is the most dangerous territory. And it's not like rewarding territory. It's most dangerous simply because it is not having enough momentum to go to the different directions. And nobody knows for how long it's going to go. Okay. So in order to test strategies like that, okay, as I already said, you need to do the backtesting if you're interested in any algorithms. If you're buying on a gut feel, then you definitely don't need to do any backtesting. What is a backtesting? Backtesting is the following. Okay, let's assume you have a strategy, trade idea, buying on a dip. Okay, then what do? You go back to the history and find the similar cases and then count of them. Let's say found one 12 months ago, success, it did go up. Then another one, it did not go up, that means it's a failure. Up, up, so that means you have 3 out of 4, 75% of success, and that's what we're gonna say, odds of success. And then the definition is odds of success are the percentage of outcomes which confirm successful trade signals in the past. Confirm, right? So those which are not confirmed, we do not present in our system, okay? That's very important statement. And what we do overnight, we test, like I would say, millions and millions of different strategies. We do millions and millions of calculations, and then find those strategies with the confirmation and then present them to you, okay? So where do we present some of the strategies? Right here, right on the first page, where we have that feed similar to the Facebook feed. And then, as you can see, this is a company Zynex, this Arun Signal, 86% odds of uptrend, okay? And how we did that? We overnight, we went to the history, we found 235 similar cases, 201 were successful, and that means we calculated 86% went up. Exactly, it was predicted. It's not bad. If we would have gotten, let's say, 40, we would not present this trade idea, okay? And that's the important element. Yeah, the question, do these backtests work on today's market? Yes, but it is not a free instrument. This one, you get access, you log in for free, and you get it, okay? This one is based on end of day. If you go here, and then let's say real-time signals, they are back-tested in real time and collect the statistic in real time. But these are the premium services which require much more calculations. We calculate in every 5 minutes millions of patterns and then collect the statistics and present them to you. I will go here if you want, but it's not today's topic. Today's screener, okay? And at the same time, I can answer to that question. You can click here on the premium and then read about the difference end of day and the real-time signals patterns, okay? Thank you for the question. I like questions when they write on the fly. So, as you can see here again, barely making another trade idea. You see it weekly drop 11% for this company. So we went and tested which trade idea. That's exactly that one. You see, it went down 11% for a week. We went back and looked at the similar drops, and it turns out that the company was dropping 52% of the time. Let's look how many cases we collected. So we found 75 cases, and 39 of them continued to go down. And that's the reason we present that idea. If that would have been below than 50%, we would not present it on the feed. So what you can do when you have nothing to do, you can kind of move along these ideas, and you would say, oh, okay, maybe there are too many of them, and it is true, but let's assume you're interested in the medical specialties, okay? So you click here, and then search, then you will find all trade ideas related to the medical specialties industry, okay? So that's the interesting news feed which you can actually save, and then later I have that my searches, and then you can find, you see medical specialties. Now Medtronics, kind of well-known company, but let's look here, weekly drop almost 7%. And then we found that every time it dropped 7%, it actually went up. We kind of are finding the trend reversal. But can you do it with your kind of computational power? I don't think so. But we can crunching quite a lot of data in advance, and then you can use it for free, just logging in. Is there a lot of AI here? Yes, some, but not as sophisticated as in the premium products. Here we're just giving you the basic idea. If you want to subscribe on the premium, then it's good. If you want to just test this, you can test it. How to test it? Okay, we have this paper trading. So with the making your paper trades, you can, let's say, paper trade, Medtronics buy. What happens now at the market open is going to open price, and it's going to be recorded to the My Paper Trades. You go to the My Paper Trades, and that's where you test your strategies, okay? So as you can see, within last month from 525 to 625, I kind of paper traded on 18,000. And here's a lot of interesting data. If you continue to trade that way, I'm going to make like 200% a year. And average duration, it's 8 days. It's kind of swing trading, maximum open, sharper ratio, not bad. As you can see, average profit trade 900 versus average loss, which is really good ratio. The typical ratio here, profit versus loss, is opposite for the beginner. Here, as you can see, it's pretty good with the guessing rate 72% on long position, 57 on the short positions, okay? And then here, what you can do is that to see what all your close trades, then you can analyze the close trades kind of interesting way. You can click here and see what are the losses you've been making on some of the stocks if you repeated it. I don't have repetitions, kind of funny. But if you have a lot of trades on one, then you really good, giving yourself a good favor analyzing. Then you can analyze on a source idea. As you can see on the scanner, I did it once, but on these stocks and news, I was trading not badly from a news, from IPF. This is a premium product, and all others. So you can see I was, here from a scanner, I was trading not badly. So when you trade on the paper trade, you can do yourself quite a lot of favors just to test our technology and your own gut feel, whatever you want, okay? So you can trade either from the news or from any other tool, okay? That's a brief introduction. And let's see what else I will show you. So one way to look at the overall market, and that's a interesting way of viewing that. We provide that group analysis, and I will click here. So major indices, I click here. And then every time you have this opportunity to either click on the ticker, look at this blue field. You can transfer through this blue field any kind of tickets to any other module in our system. Okay? So let's assume I want to analyze like a scorecards for every single ETF in our case, and that ETF DIA stands for Dow Jones, SPY for S&P 500, QQQ Nasdaq. This is Russell 2000. Okay. So the scorecard for the entire group is kind of a buy. So overall market is not bad looking, but some of them sell, some of them hold. You see a strong buy came out of the Nasdaq, right? And so Russell 2000 is sell and Dow Jones is sell, right? And hold overall is buy. It's kind of market doesn't know what to do, and that's going to be testing most likely. So the tip number 3 for today, wait for July 1st, okay? So here, please note that quite a lot of mutual funds, institutional and investors, what they do, they get paid by their gains for the quarter, okay? And this time is the end of the 6 months, okay? So they're going to collect some of their gains by June 30th. And what might happen that on July 1st, they're going to start sell off because they've been waiting and dragging this till they get paid. And quite a lot of shifts going on at the end of the quarter, like end of the year, quite a lot of shifts because they're getting there. I don't know if you see my calendar. I'm showing calendar, but I don't know if you see it on the screen. Zoom might not allow that, but that's okay. Okay. So let's try to get to the screener. But before I go there, I would like to show you kind of most important thing when you want to check about the anything. Let's say Tesla. Let's check what our thinks about the Tesla. Tesla, TSLA, and I go to signals, go, right? So use this search for tickers. If you want a category or theme, click here and then go, and then we give you quite a lot of analysis. Okay, Tesla, sell, okay. So what it means there is some kind of, you see the situation that it got some plateau. So we see that RSI indicator coming out of overbought zone, okay? That from that point, and it means it's kind of a getting weak Tesla. So how these articles and this page is structured to get full information about the stock, let's say Tesla, okay, which is a sell here, okay? So first of all, we're doing some bearish analysis based on indicators. If you don't know about stochastics, you read here, you see? So if you just forgot how the stochastic works, then you can read it here. And then, as you can see, stochastic indicator says down direction, downtrend. We found 62 cases with the stochastic indicator, and then 45 of them continued downtrend, right? So 73%. MACD, moving average convergence divergence, very famous. So 44 cases, 32 continued to go down. Okay, Bollinger Band, then 69%. Is that possible that some of the indicators are going to show positive? Yes, that's the whole point. Never rely on one indicator. So what we do with analysis, when we take AI, then we take classical indicators and then summarize them and express opinion in one parameter buy or sell or strong buy. Then fundamental analysis. So what I'm going to be focusing today is pretty much on these ratings in the screener. So I'm going to focus on technical analysis in the screener and fundamental analysis in the screener. Okay. So the first rating, as you can see, is presented with a graph which shows what's going on. The red, it means we have a downturn with a negative outlook. As you can see, turn negative. And what it means that the direction of buyers versus sellers going to the opposite direction. So as you can see, advancing versus declining is pretty much close, but we see here fewer buyers than sellers. So there's more sellers on Tesla. Okay, that's one. We call it outlook indicator. I'm sorry, not outlook rating. I will show you. Okay, then P growth. Okay, price earning growth rating. On the rate from 1 to 100, it is 100, which is not good. So that means there's not much of growth in earnings. The company barely breaking even. And from that perspective, from fundamental perspective, it's pretty weak company. But people buying on the hype, and the CEO is genius, and who cares, right? But fact is the fact. Nobody can really change that. Then another indicator we come up with, and soon we're going to write like ebook, fundamental analysis in plain English, right? So what we did, we took all fundamental analysis parameters and then comprised them into a few ratings, which are easier to understand. Let's say SMR rating, which is we took sales, margin, return on equity. 97, yeah, everyone knows that Tesla is not a good company, okay? Then valuation, okay? So what it means valuation? It means that in the, how well it is valued. Is that overvalued company? People like to buy undervalued company, but this company is tremendously overvalued. And is there a risk of buying? Yes, definitely yes. Okay. So we're going to be talking about that one too. So what we do, we analyze this price per book ratio, P ratios, projected growth. All of these parameters go to the one valuation rating, and then we'll present that in the screener. Okay. Then let's say price growth rating. I like that. This is the simplest one. How well the price growth against all other companies, let's say S&P 500. So it's kind of grows in the first third, pretty much close to that. It's not bad, okay? So what is the best thing about this company? The best thing about this company is profit versus risk. So there is been a really steady growth. And if we analyze that steady growth and look at the risk associated with that, then this company is not that bad. Okay, so as you can see, you don't need to know how to read the financial statements, but you just can go through this, and it gives quite a lot of explanation. And this text updated daily. It's also daily updates. You can come tomorrow and see, for instance, it's going to go and say strong sell if it turns out down. But as you can see, was a buying opportunity, some people were thinking. But if we look at this chart, it's kind of flat. And with these cases, it might really go down. Okay. So this is about one stock. Every time you want to find anything, just type here and click go, and you find anything about this stock. But here's tip number 4 of the day. Let's assume we want to compare Tesla and Ford. As you can see, now I have Tesla and Ford, and that's another button show up. We can compare 2 or 3, let's say General Motors. Okay, we can compare 2 or 3 symbols in one article where you can read and understand the way we are comparing. Okay, let's try 2. So we're going to compare Tesla and Ford. We're going to click it here. Okay, now what you have is quite a lot of interesting data. Okay, first of all, look at the correlation. Correlation means that if they positive, let's say 99% correlation, then they pretty much go all together. But if it's minus 66, it's kind of weird. The Tesla goes up, Ford goes down pretty much all the time. That's kind of interesting observation made. As you can see, Ford and Tesla is negatively correlated. There's a valuation, Tesla 178 billion, 23 billion. It's known that I think Tesla on valuation, overvalued company, is having market cap greater than all other companies in the automobile industry altogether. It's unbelievable, but that's the fact. We have to deal with that. And everyone quite a lot of people betting on the Tesla going down, but CEO always manages to escape. Okay, but let's look at the other parameters, and this is a fundamental ratings comparison. As you can see, on the evaluation, Ford looks much better. Profit versus risk, Ford it doesn't look good. Yeah, and that's maybe the reason. Maybe it's opposite. SMR rating, the business model is better, and the growth rating, as you can see, they're doing really well. Ford is really doing well comparing with Tesla. Okay, so that was a tip number 4. Okay, now let's go to the screener. Okay, screener home. And I will show you all the features, and with the examples, you're going to understand that better. Okay. First of all, we have a new feature which shows this scorecard right here. You see scorecard. What it does, it accumulates all the data, and then you can just sort by buy, sell, and get either buy, stocks to buy and stocks to sell, based on what? A fundamental analysis. You can see all the ratings I talked about, right? Then technical analysis. Let me introduce you to this table. Okay, that's very important because you will not find it anywhere else. Okay, why? Because when if you know a little bit about technical analysis, then typically on the backtesting, what happens on a lot of software, you can test, let's say, RSI indicator, and then at the moment of signals, you can backtest. I've used this type of software, but I always was puzzled. If signal was 15 days ago, what would be the backtest? So as you can see, we're testing every day, and what we're showing here, the following data, which you cannot find anywhere else. So that means it was RSI signal on this Dollar General was produced 15 days ago. And even if it was produced 15 days ago, we look in the history of signal plus 15 days, and it turns out that it still was a data. It showed that it went down every time, 56% of the time. Okay. So over goodbye and how it looks. Okay, yeah, I'll show you. But I can show you how to get a good buy, no doubts. But if you don't understand what is written here, you're going to be, I would say, without the real instruments to continue to use it. And that's more important for me in this case, and as a person who tells you that story, because there is a millions of ways to find the good stocks. Okay, so for instance, this one, 71% odds of success, and the signal was produced 5 days ago. Okay, this 62% going down on this, and 18 days ago the signal was produced on the Bollinger Japan. Okay. So this is a technical analysis. This is a fundamental analysis tab, right? This is a classical fundamentals which you can find that in pretty much any screener. That's the only screener people sell. Nobody gonna give you this analysis. Nobody gonna give you this analysis, okay? And then earnings and dividends. So we produce you table of all the data. But one more tip, tip number 5 for today is by clicking here, you can find out earnings calendar, how soon you're going to be seeing on July 14, eBay is going to be reporting earnings. So from that list of whatever 19 was here, I selected that's going to be earnings report, and don't trade over that day, okay? So that's the kind of most dangerous day. You never know what's going to happen. Don't try to trade. If you're investing, that's a different story. Okay. Now, let's then see how I would do it in the current market, what I would have done. So when you come to this screener, click here or here, reset filter. Okay. So first step, you reset filter. And that way you here with stocks, okay? And then you on the scorecard. And then what we do here, as you can see, cover 3,876 stocks. And then we also cover ETFs, mutual funds, Forex, and cryptocurrencies. So right now on the page of analyzing stocks. So on this one, how to find the good stocks? It's a good question. First, I would do is to get, if you want to buy, you get a strong buy. Okay? So first, you see how the stocks, really good stocks showed up? Simply by selecting here a strong buy, I now selected all stocks now from 3,000, from almost 4,000, now it's 400, almost 391, right? So I reduced that to the stocks which are rated as a strong buy. It is a pretty big number. You're definitely not going to try it with a 391. Okay. Now let's look what I would do next. I like to in this case to select. I go here and I will select price growth rating. Okay. Why? Because if the stock continues to grow over this downturn, then it's a good stock. Okay. So I'm getting here green stuff, right? And as you can see, really nice growth here in the graphs. And you also cannot find the screener charts and this rating. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna here odds and ratings, and now I can select pretty much anything I want out of this list 391, and I'm gonna take price growth rating here, and I will take this one. Let's check if we have any. Yeah, and then I will take the positive only from 1 to 33. 1 is good, 100 is bad. Okay, let's see. Okay, now I reduce that to 19 stocks. Okay, so as you can see, I selected only 2 parameters and I've got 19 stocks, and all of them you see kind of nice, and with the downturn continue to grow. Everyone is going down, but these stocks are going up. Okay, so what I'm gonna do there, you say how to find one in these markets. My recommendation is as follows. I, for instance, here found 19. 19 is good enough for me to look at them tomorrow. So what I'm gonna do today, I'm gonna do the following. I'm gonna click here and I'm going to create a watch list. Okay, so I'm gonna create add new watch list, and then I will type here 06 25th 20, and then bullish. Okay, just for me to remember tomorrow. Enter, and now I created the watch list. So what I'm gonna do tomorrow? Okay, before what do you want? I really don't know, but because the market is uncertain, what I'm gonna do, if you have ability to do the selling short, then you should do that. If you cannot, then it's kind of a tough luck. You cannot participate in a bearish market. But the markets these days, bullish and bearish, and then you have to be careful. What I do typically, I create a similar list, but for those which are strong sells. Okay, so let's see what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna do the following. I'm gonna take this one and learn a negative. Okay, I'm gonna take that negative, and I'm gonna go here to the scorecard, and I'm gonna take it a strong sell. Okay, let's see. I have 298, and then I use the 2 indicators, and I did not reduce it to a reasonable number like I did before to 19. So what I'm gonna do? Okay, I have strong sell. I have this, and then what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna look at the AI trend predictions. Let's see if I'm gonna bearish. Okay, I'm selecting bearish. I'm gonna use AI here. How many I have? 69. Okay, if I really wanna go and take it AI predictions for a week, I'm gonna do it here. I have 57. So I'm gonna continue to reduce, I'm gonna continue to apply additional filters to reduce it to a reasonable number for tomorrow, okay? So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna look at those which have more sellers than buyers. I'm gonna take negative 15. Okay, now we're talking. So what I see here is the list which I'm going to, so you see energy, utilities, banks, all kinds of stuff. And I'm gonna create another list, watch list, and then add new. And this one is gonna be 06 25th 20 bearish, okay? Oops, I'm sorry. 06 25th 10 20 bearish. Okay, enter. So now I have 2 lists. So what I'm gonna do tomorrow, let's assume it is tomorrow, okay? And I kind of come to the system, and then let's remove this. Let's remove the screener. I'm coming tomorrow, and yeah, the person is asking whether or not the AI predictions looking at the options of calls and puts activity. No, we do not. We do not look at that. We look at fundamental analysis. We look at technical analysis. Options, it is not that reliable data from our perspective, because people making all kinds of speculative calls or puts that to really rely on them, it's kind of tough, because even if they make these puts on calls, it's not necessarily still going to go up or down accordingly. They might be squeezed and the situation is going to be much worse. It doesn't help. In fact, let me kind of tell you, go back to my presentation, okay? And then I stopped here, I showed you, I made you the X course, right? So here, again, the illustration of this backtesting. As you can see, there were crashes of 2000, crashes 2008. We here, actually much here, it's pretty much all the chart. But the expectations are the stock has to go down, okay? So what we're really looking at this type of jumps when sports have half pipe winter activities, guide jumps. So we're going to look at this type of jumps, and we're looking not necessarily at day trading, but kind of swing trading, day trading. What we're looking at, they're having enough of inertia to jump. Okay, so we do not want to find anything where it is uncertain. We're looking much kind of on the cases with a lot of certainty. Okay, so then, as I said, let's look here, and I'm arriving tomorrow, right, in the morning or whatever time of the day you want to trade. Then I refresh that screen, okay? And then what I'm going to do, I'm going to go to my watch lists, okay? And let's look, 0625. I'm going to get it up, bearish, okay? And then what I'm going to do also, I'm going to bring that up, my watch list of bullish. And then depending on the market, overall market, okay, let's look, 0625 bullish, okay, I'm opening that, okay. So then what I'm going to do, I'm going to look at the market tomorrow. So far, this is on the right side. I'm going to look at here. Today was a real down market. And then, oh, no, it was up market, right? So what we see here is two lists, okay? Now, what I'm going to do, imagine the market is open, right? I'm going to do the following. I'm going to click here and put it to the scanner. I'm going to really verify whether or not there is enough of inertia to continue to go down. This is a very important column. You're going to verify whether or not these stocks were confirmed with the direction of going down, okay? And these stocks from this bullish list, I'm going to do it tomorrow and going to observe whether or not they're going to continue to go up. And I'm also going to click on the scanner. Now I have two scanners. And then I'm going to be observing what's going on with this column. This column is going to start changing at moment you open it. So let's assume we're going to open at 7 o'clock in California time or whatever time market is open. And then you see whether or not the theory of this work with the screener worked out well. Okay. And let's assume it works well. And I have that. I have pretty good stocks here: Apple, Adobe, Autodesk, Amazon. You see, it's these really good stocks. So what I can do, I can really do the following. I can click it here, select all of them, and do the group paper trade. So I'm gonna do paper trade, and I'm gonna say I'm gonna buy all of them. Boom. So the market to open, I'm going to buy all of them, and they're going to be treated as a group. I can buy as a group. I can sell as a group. and that way I'm gonna see if my theory is correct of doing that. Also, I can do is to verify these ones. I can take it here to the paper trade, and then I will sell short at the opening. Boom. So now I set up about 35 stock to check, either in a screener or in a scanner or in a paper trade. That way I'm testing all our capabilities without losing any money. Pretty much you testing other capabilities on your own money. Here with the paper trades and the scanners, you lose nothing but the test and then create your own understanding, and then you would use the screener smartly, and then you're going to be much more prepared than any out of 170,000 people who stuck in the hordes simply because somebody told them. Okay, so now it's 47. We have about 12 minutes before the Zoom is going to shut down the session. We could extend it, but this one is set up to the end of the hour. Please give me more questions, and I will then comment how to use screener or anything in our system. In the meantime, while you're preparing the questions, I will tell you that we do much more sophisticated work. We analyze patterns, trends. Here is a lot of neural networks working, but that's the end of the day signals. These are the signals of on every 5 minutes. Every minute we take the data, analyze the patterns, and then the combination of the tools gives the real difference. So for instance, if you click here Forex, then what you can see is the analysis on the trend predictions together with the search of patterns. Okay, and another thing is, let's say I have this nice list. Okay, Apple, as you can see, Lam Research. For that where am I? It's a screener. 19. What I can do, I can shift all of them to intraday pattern feed, and I'm gonna find out if there are intraday patterns for my list or bullish list for tomorrow. Okay, so as you can see, this list was shifted to the premium products out of screener. I bet you've never seen that with one click you can move the stocks. And as you can see here, really nice positive patterns on a different time frames were discovered. Adobe, it's a buy, 54% confidence. Distance to target means I can make 1% within a short period of time. Then eBay, okay, eBay. What is that? Head and shoulder pattern. It's kind of shows quite a lot of really good patterns. Microsoft broadening wedge pattern was discovered. If you don't know anything about this pattern, then you click here. You can read. Okay, and and then about the backtesting and statistics here. As you can see, there's a lot of statistics, and with the confidence is 40. And if we increase the confidence, then with the patterns in 70%, 88% make profit, which we predict. That's quite amazing. So as you can see, this is the real-time testing, and then we tested pretty much every 5 minutes of everything was going on. I guys don't see any additional questions, and if you do not have them, then we will have to finish today's sessions. As I said, you can look at the recording material and then try to use the screener. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, no questions. And guys, thank you for your attention, and goodbye.